Good morning, Dr. Gary here. We sell dental practices nationwide. Today's topic is going to be, even in the darkest hours, do not give up. We'll get into that. But anyway, we're now in 24 states, just opened up New Mexico, Nevada, Colorado, and I believe we started Texas. Maybe it's more than 24. We have 10 employees. We're excited with our new acquisition person and our new operations employee. So things are happening. Our company has been in business now 12 years. I was a dentist at 25. And we are available to you 363 days a year from 7:30 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. East Coast time. We take off Christmas and Easter. So we love what we do and we have fun every day. Now, information you're about to hear is for entertainment purposes. It is not business or legal advice, okay? Call us anytime for advice or information that you need. We're more than happy to share it with you. If you're a seller and you're thinking about selling to a DSO, please call us. They'll pay our commission often. And sometimes based on certain criteria, we can get your legal fees reimbursed at the same time at closing. So give us a call about that. But we're here to help you. And we have a lot of information to share. So here's today's topic. Once again, our phone number is 201-663-0935. Our website is dentalpracticeguide.com. Dentalpracticeguide.com. So let's go over what's happening today on the darkest hours. We get this all the time. Either the buyer falls out last minute or the seller falls apart last minute. And sometimes right before closing. That's why in this business, sometimes 30% of the deals fall apart, sometimes more, sometimes less. I spoke to a fellow in mergers and acquisitions with banks and large corporations. He told me 50% of the deals fall apart. So no matter what anybody tells you, that's the experience I've seen nationwide. And there are times that buyer or seller will make an emotional decision. Something will happen in their life. Or they have there's an open ear to someone that's not as knowledgeable as the business. You can have a family member or somebody else say something to you, but then again, what does that family member know about the business? Do they have information that somebody else doesn't have? Can they predict the future? As far as I'm concerned, I've never met anybody that can predict the future. And if they can, I think they'd be in Vegas right now. So nobody can predict the future. So even in the darkest hour when you get a call from the attorney that the deal is dead, do not give up. Figure out what's going on. Figure out, is there an emotional issue going on with buyer or seller? Sometimes you got to let people sleep on it. Who's involved in making the decision? Is this a spouse? Does the spouse know what they're talking about? You're going to get surgery done. It's important to talk to your family members, but ultimately you're talking to your surgeon and speaking to multiple surgeons to get opinions on the best medical advice what to do. In these situations where the deal is falling apart, you got to speak to your professionals, be it the broker, the attorney, the accountant, the banker. Speak to professionals. Yes, you may want to listen to your family members, give their point of view, but what experience do those family members have? How many deals have they been involved with, and how many years have they done it for? What experience do they have to fall back on? So I'm saying open it up to everybody. You can listen to a family member, but you've got to open it up to many other professionals to listen to what they say. So I'm telling you that some of these buyers and their sellers make an emotional decision. Something happens in their life and they bail out. They bail out. They figure, oh, no, it's going to be trouble, or I'll get this deal some other time. Or I could sell later, or a buyer could say, I could find another better deal. Often, you're going to find there's a problem with every deal. There's no perfect deal. There's no perfect situation, be it the seller or the buyer. But circumstances can change in the future which you cannot predict, such as disability, pandemic, disability with the buyer or the seller. You just simply don't know. Things in life can change. When you have a deal on the table that looks, and you've checked with your attorneys, your bankers, your accountants, and it appears that's a very good deal for you, press on, put that deal to close. And if you sell your practice and you're really disgruntled that you sold, start another one, because what you did is you cashed out on top. Remember, in a rising stock market, if you got out while you were 80%, 90%, and it was going to 100%, but you bailed out at 85% on its way up, you cashed out. You may have lost out on that 15% increase that the stock market was going to make after you sold. Yeah, that could happen, but you can't time the market. This way you can't time these deals. There's no perfect deal. There's no perfect situation, But if you made a qualified decision to sell, get out. Get out. If it's fair for you, your accountants say it's okay, you spoke to your professionals, you spoke to your bankers, I don't think a family member should be dissuading you because they don't have the knowledge, possibly, to understand how to analyze the deal. They do care for you, but they may not have the right knowledge. So this is something you've got to take into consideration. You get out while you're on top. Get out and you protect your principal. And buyer, there's going to be deals that just don't seem to be perfect. You may think you're overpaying. But if your bankers thought it was a good deal and your bankers gave you the go-ahead, your attorneys gave you the go-ahead, you have a deal that you're buying a business. You can increase the business. You can make changes in the business. Remember, I think it was one of the larger banks said there was, I think in 2019, the default percentage was 0.25%. In other words, 1/4% defaulted on their loans. That is buyers. That's usually because of drugs, alcohol, or they changed everything in the office. Everything. So just think about that. Do not make an emotional decision. And if something happens, sometimes you give it 24 hours or the weekend. Let the deciding party calm down, and they may come up with a different answer. Don't jump and start jumping ship because they said this or they said that. Sometimes give it a little bit of time, and things should work out. All right? An incident that happened to us a long time ago, it was about 8 years ago. Seller calls up. And the seller says, that's it, deal's over with. Calls the attorney, tells his attorney to call the other attorney. Tells the attorney, call that bank, tell the bank's deal is dead. Tells the attorney, tell the buyer, deal is dead. So he tells his attorney, tells the attorney to call the other attorney, shut down the operation. Deal is dead, I'm not going forward. Deal's off. That was on a Tuesday. I called him on a Thursday morning. When what he did, his decision, I wanted to give it a little bit of time to sink in. I called him Thursday morning. I said, how you doing? What's going on? He says, I don't know. I'm so frustrated. This is taking so long. I just want to shut it down. I told him I understand how you feel. But we've come such a long way. And the deal is right at the doorsteps. Can we please make this happen? I think deep down he wanted it to happen. Sure enough, we went to closing with this buyer. It's one of my longest deals. It took 2 years. It was crazy. 2 years to go to closing. Unbelievable. But we closed. And he's lucky he did. Because of that buyer, unfortunately, although the buyer had good disability insurance, the buyer became disabled about a year later. So the buyer would not have been able to come back in again and buy it. Fortunately, the buyer had great disability insurance and he was fine. He went into lecturing and so forth, sold the practice with somebody else. But you can't bank on the fact, well, maybe the buyer will come back again or something else will happen. Do the deal. We did the deal. It went through. Everybody was happy. And that's the way things are. You never give up. Okay? Great talking to you guys. Travel with us as we go across the country. I think Nevada's next. I have to check that. Nevada and probably Colorado. I'm going to go visit. We try to visit every single seller and communicate with them. Thank you. Bye. We now have 110 or 12, I think, YouTubes and videos. And I believe we have 170 downloads on our podcasts. And our YouTube videos is approaching, I think, 1,900 views. And we've only been doing it for a few months. So thanks for coming along for the ride. Bye.